Here's a fascinating project. An initiative by Google Maps and an organization known as Plan Act will see more disadvantaged areas being picked up on Google. Small businesses, communities, individual homes in townships, you name it, will soon be able to be added, already are on a digital address. To tell us more about this pilot project, I'm joined by Mike Makwela, who's with Plan Act, who is based here in South Africa, but currently finds himself in Santiago in Chile, where he's on a work trip. Mike, thank you so much for your time. Now, your organization, Plan Act, have piloted in 2 areas, along with Google Maps, to do what for many of us sounds like something very simple, but something that could in the end be quite life-changing for millions of South Africans if it can be rolled out. Talk to us how you got to this point that this was something that your organization wanted to get involved in. Why do we need this?
Thank you. And let me say good morning because I'm out of the country. I'm in Chile. I know it's a good day in South Africa. Good afternoon. My name is Mike Makwela from Planet. We're a development non-profit organization based in Johannesburg. So we work in informal settlements, and we are quite concerned that when you go to our informal settlements, people don't have addresses, things that you take for granted. So we then conceptualized this project, and we thought, why not? Let's test it. And we approached Google International because we wanted their technology, and they're like, wow, we're willing to come on board and partner with you. And so the issue of not having an address is a very serious thing, especially in informal settlements. Can you imagine that you can't access, or an ambulance can't access you, all because you don't have an address? The police can't find you because you don't have an address. This young man or woman who's supposed to get parole or a bail can't get it because does not have a traceable address. Can you imagine one of our requirements is that when you have to vote in the local government election, you have to have an address for you to register as a voter. And so if you don't have a proper address, you are disadvantaged. So there are many factors that have an impact, negative impact on not having an address. A thing that we take, for example, one of the things that happens is that the municipality provides communal facilities like a communal tap. Okay. And then if it breaks, it's a problem to report it. So fault reporting is compromised all because you don't have an address. You can't say, I live in a green shack in Tembelihle informal settlement or School Plus informal settlement. How many green shacks are there? You know, so this project is intended to make sure that the people who live in informal settlement are recognized and we know who they are, and provide the opportunity for them to access services that there's so much desire, like all of us.
Now, while we're speaking, we're showing visuals of the various teams working on this project. I know one of them was in School Plus informal settlement. Can you give us an idea of what went into putting this together? I believe there would be community meetings, people would have a chance to try and come up with names for their streets and that kind of thing. Give us an idea of what went into this project behind the scenes.
Yes, so when we conceptualized the project, we're really not sure what will go into it. So we started engaging with community leaders, we got the community volunteers, and this is one of the benefits of this project. You create opportunity for young people who are unemployed and you teach them the new skill. So we brought them together, engaged with the community, and the community said, yes, of course, we need street names. We need identity, we need an address so that our lives are changed and changed forever. So we then did a mapping exercise, and it's a very important process because you then start identifying the layout of your settlement. Is there a street here? Yes. Is there a passage here? Yes. How's the settlement structured? So we then designed, and we came up with a plan, and we produced it. And then the second thing that we did was to say, how do we name our streets? And we were very clear, it must be a participatory process. We didn't want somebody to sit in the office and decide that this street will be, the name of this street will be so and so, the name. No, every a resident of that street would come together and name two or three streets, okay, names, and argue amongst themselves and eventually come with a preferred name. And we made sure that we use the guidelines of the city to advise them on the names that are applicable and or not applicable. Once we have completed that process, we realize that half of the job has been done. Now we need to put a GPS in each shack. And that was the most exciting part of it. That's where we approached Google and we said, come on board. You have an instrument called plus code address. Plus code address is for settlements that are not formalized, like informal settlements that are not recognized. Okay, but the idea is to make sure that people have some kind of an identity. And so we engage with them and they come on board. And then we got a group of young people, got a smartphone, and then we hit the ground. We went shack by shack and we gave each shack a coordinate. Okay, and a coordinate is an address for areas that are not formalized. Okay, so we did that for weeks and weeks. And then Google then contributed a digital code, as you can see on the film. And so each household has this digital board. It is an address. If you go on your Google map and you punch those numbers, they will take you exactly, not even 2 minutes, 2 meters away from the check. Exactly. So this will assist communities in informal settlement who don't have proper addresses to be able to access municipal services. So it's a breakthrough. And it's an innovation that we think needs to be scaled up in all the informal settlement in our country, because there is no way that you can have millions and millions of people who don't have access to services, all because they live in informal settlements. Whether we like it or not, informal settlements shape the city life. They are there for us. We have to make sure that we provide solutions to their challenges. Thanks.
Now, Mike, watching these visuals and hearing you speak, it's actually quite an emotional thing. This is empowering people in a very, very real way to make them see that they have a place where they belong, that they have an address, that they have the right to services. They also have the right to order deliveries to their home, which sounds like something that's very simple. Just very quickly before
Absolutely.
I go, how have these communities reacted to it? Because obviously you also have to educate them about how to use it. And what have municipalities, what have their reaction been? Very quickly, we're running out of time.
Oh, yeah, sure. Look, we produce a pamphlet that takes you through the process, the steps. Remember, we do a lot of community participation and engagement. So by the time we finish the process, people have an idea. The city of Joburg is magnificent. It has in their policy of street naming. They recognize that there's a need to have street names in informal settlements. Of course, not all municipalities have that, and we want to urge them to reconsider their street naming policies of informal settlement. It doesn't do anyone good not to have a progressive policy as that one, to say it's important that informal settlement should have proper addresses. It doesn't help anyone because it helps the municipality to know where the communal facilities are, the taps, the toilets, the JoJo tanks. And once there's a problem, they're able to identify where those municipal services are. So it's a breakthrough. We are very excited. And the community is absolutely excited about it. They now can call a pizza. You and I have an address. For some people, they don't. If you want a pizza, you can't get it because you don't have an address. I can get a pizza because I have an address. Things that we take for granted. For those students who study in UNISA, and they'll be able to get their material on their box. So it's a breakthrough. And we would like to urge more municipalities to reconsider their policies on street making. And of course, we need more money to roll it out. Thank you.
let's hope that this interview helps you get closer to getting this project running in many more areas that need it. Thank you so much for your time. That's Mike Makwela. He's from Plan Act, telling us about this exciting project that they've piloted with Google Maps. Fascinating and important work being done by that organizations in communities that need it most.